Hey folks, Jim here from Vaping 411 and thanks for tuning in. The Tesla Punk 220 watt is the successor to that retro Art Deco design Tesla Nano Steampunk 120 watt that hit the shelves in early 2017. This is a very eye-catching device and guaranteed to be a conversation starter in just about any vape setting. Upon initial inspection, people are going to notice these clear panels on each side that shows these mechanical gears and circuitry that kind of reminds me of something off of a Flash Gordon movie. But then upon closer look, people are going to realize that this isn't some retro device, but a pretty advanced mod that has all the bells and whistles, including temperature control, TCR settings, 4 taste settings so you can adjust the wattage hitting your coils. It has RGB LED lights that dance whenever you take a vape. And speaking of power, this thing hits 220 watts. We'll take a closer look right after this. So let's go ahead and see what's in the box. So here's the Punk 220 box, and I'll go ahead and turn it over so you can see what's behind it, and I'll keep it on the screen. It shows you what actually comes in the box and its specifications, and we'll go over that in just a second. In the box you'll find one Punk 220 watt mod, a micro USB cable, a user manual, and a battery safety notification. The Punk 220 watt measures 86 millimeters by 56 millimeters by 30 millimeters. Safety features include 10-second cutoff, low voltage protection, no atomizer protection, reverse battery connection, low voltage power protection, temperature alert, and temperature protection. I'm really impressed with the finish on the Tulsa Punk 220 watt. It's a zinc alloy, ABS, and polycarbonate construction. Now this thing weighs 280 grams, so it's fairly heavy, and it can fire between 7 to 220 watts at 0.5 watt increments. And it comes in 3 different colors: gunmetal, copper, and brass, like you see here. Max voltage is 7.5 volts, max current is 50 amps, resistance range for Kanthal coils is 0.1 to 3 ohms, and for temperature control coils, 0.05 to 1 ohm. Coil types that it could use readily is Kanthal, stainless steel, nickel, and titanium, as well as TCR mode for specialty coils. Temperature range is 100 to 300 degrees Celsius and 200 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Now there is a micro USB port on the side panel of the Punk 220 watt, and in the instruction manual it does state that you could use this micro USB port to charge your batteries. But as a safety precaution, I do suggest you take those batteries out and you charge them separately. One of the things I want to point out to you all is the battery cover. This seems to be a newer design. If you guys recall, maybe about a year and a half ago, we started seeing those hinged battery covers. And every single mod that I had that used a hinged battery cover, those hinges, that cover itself eventually got weak. The slightest bump against the mod, that latch would fly wide open, the batteries would fall, and it presents a pretty dangerous situation. This seems to use a push and slide mechanism along with a magnetic support. Only time will tell if this is a better design option or not. It seems pretty good. Also, inside of the battery well of the mod, you can see your positive and negative terminals that are clearly marked to ensure proper battery placement. I'll talk briefly about the chipset that comes with the Punk. It's the same chipset that you found in the Tesla Nano Steampunk 120 watt. Basically, you have 4 different buttons. You have your firing button right here. You have your left and right buttons here that adjust your wattage or your temperature control settings, as well as helping you navigate through the menu. And then finally you have your LED mode button right over here. Now here on the screen what you see is, let me go ahead and just press the firing button right now. It's asking me if I got a new tank in there, a new coil. I'll just say yes, new, so I'll hit this one right here. It'll show you your resistance, the voltage. It'll show you what the taste mode is, and there's 4 different taste modes. We'll look at that real quick. Shows you what coil you're using, and that's Kanthal. Your battery strength, it has a visual picture right here, as well as showing it's 81%. It shows you the memory mode and then your wattage. With the wattage, you can go from 7 watts all the way to 120 watts, and it goes in 0.5 at a time. And if you just hold it down, it goes pretty quickly. So we'll take it all the way up, and I'll show you it goes up to 220 watts. And there we go. Let me bring it down to about 132, which is where I seem to like it with my Joytech Ordinate. Now, to access your different functions, you're going to press the firing button 3 times quickly. 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, the resistance is highlighted. And you can navigate with your left and right buttons to where you want to go. Let's look right here. This is your taste setting right here. If I click the firing button, it's going to give me 4 different options. Basically, what this mode is, the taste mode, it allows you to change the ramp up wattage to your coil. This is normal setting. Soft, it slowly increases the ramp up wattage to your coil. Hard, kind of hits it full throttle. And then user, you can adjust the settings to what you want it to be. And you can do that by pressing the firing button, and then you can switch it out right over here. Moving right along, you could click your coil setting, and you could pick which kind of coil you want. You have a choice between Kanthal, stainless steel 316, nickel, titanium, or that you could go into TCR mode, where you could go ahead and you could place your TCR settings for those specialty coils. So the final button is this one right here, and that's to change the settings for your RGB LED lights. And right now it's set to off. If I fire the firing button, it doesn't come on at all. And this is the first setting right here, M1. It's M2, M3, looks like it's blue, red, and white lights, M4, and your final one is M5, and that's this one right here. And that's really all there is to it. It's really easy to use. You don't have to look at the user manual too much. You can pretty much figure this out on your own. Regarding these RGB LED lights, we got to press this little button right over here to change the settings. I imagine the only time these lights are going to be prominent are going to be at nighttime. So what I did is last night when I was barbecuing, I sat outside and vaped it with the various different light mode settings. And this is what we came up with. Take a look. So I'm going to check out the 5 LED settings. The first time is with the LEDs off. First setting. Second setting. Third setting. Fourth setting. And the last one, the fifth setting. Now regarding these LED lights, I really don't know what to make of them. It's not something that I would use. I'd probably have the lights off. If anything, it's going to save some battery life for me. Not to mention the fact that, let me go ahead and get the light on here. When I'm vaping, I'm not even seeing the lights. So this is for other people's benefit and not mine. To me, it's somewhat of a gimmick. It's not useful to me as a vapor. I want a device that gives me good vape, and this does. But the lights are unnecessary in my opinion. So before I go over the pros and cons, let's go ahead and do another vape test, this time indoors. And just so you guys know, I'm using a Joytech Ordinate tank with the Punk 220. And I'm vaping this at 132 watts. You know, man, it definitely puts out a very nice vape. Cons, let's talk about cons. There's only 2 that I could think of. The first one is the weight. It's unbelievably heavy. 280 grams is not a joke. It's too big and bulky to be able to put in your pocket. If you're a lady, you can't, you put this in your purse, you're gonna feel it. It's gonna drag you down. So that's one of the things that I just don't like about it. It's just unnecessarily heavy. The second thing are these LED lights, these RGB LED lights. I think it adds no value at all to your vape experience. In fact, when you're vaping, you're not even seeing it. So I think this is something that's unnecessary and probably should be removed in future models. It just does nothing for your vape experience. On the pro side, this is This provides an outstanding vape. It's obviously very big and bulky, but it's solid. You could drop this thing and I guarantee you it'll be just fine. I like that the buttons stick out. It's very clicky. You could find this at night. It's not going to be any problems at all. I love the design. I mean, it's an icebreaker, definitely a conversation starter. It just looks cool. And finally, the chipset that's in here, extremely easy to navigate. You really don't even have to look at the manual to figure out exactly what's going on with this thing. It takes a few minutes to figure out how it works, and then you're set. It's really good. I do appreciate you guys watching. I do have a link on the bottom of this video if you guys want to check it out. Please subscribe, like me on Facebook, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks a lot. Hey folks, don't forget to subscribe. The button is right over there.